Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 with the Colorado Rockies. Hope we get some info about OOTP 27 here soon. I'd love to see what kind of changes they're going to be making. In our previous episode, we completed another off season. We didn't do a whole lot, but what we did do, I think, was fairly important. Um, so let's take a look at our log. I don't look at this log nearly as much as I should. But I probably should be looking at stuff more. We said goodbye to a couple of people. Let's start with October of 2040. October 2040 hasn't happened yet. Lamau. Here you go. We did some contract extensions. The big one was for Jim Sellers. We got rid of Fujimoto in order to add on a couple of interesting prospects, mostly because Fujimoto... I made him a former Rocky, right? Yeah. Fujimoto's just one of these guys that I don't really think is going to have a great career. I think he's got a lot to recommend him if you have the patience, but I just don't have the patience anymore. Somebody with his speed and his skill in the outfield, plus his raw power, makes an enticing player. But the strikeout rate is just way too high. It's comically high. And if you're not hitting a lot more than he does, like a 176 average is almost never going to be good enough. You could argue he'll probably hit for higher average this season, but he just strikes out too much. Almost half of his plate appearances last year were strikeouts, so trading him was the right decision. We said goodbye to John Kaiser. We activated Jeremy Turner. A lot of people there. If we take a look at November, we did some shifting around of people in the minors. Contracts happened there. Let's look at December. We did make a couple of Rule 5 picks in Billy Bernal and Luis Rodriguez. Both of them have already been returned to their parent clubs. We lost Jeremy Turner, which doesn't surprise me. We did pick up William Jimenez as a minor league free agent, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, it was honestly a very, very quiet offseason. Jordan Yeager was probably the biggest player that we added. He's got so much raw potential, but he's also very, very far away from the major leagues, which isn't that much of a surprise. That was basically it. Like, it was not a terribly exciting off-season, really. And that's why we find ourselves here in March of 2040 with a team that is here. Like, okay, let me break this down for everybody as we think about the season before we start. This is definitely a team that could win the World Series, simply because any team can win the World Series. There is upside to be had here. Yasukawa has been a very solid stable for us, worth 5 to 6 wins a season, great at getting on base, a good amount of power, and a lot of speed. Mark Monroe is our next superstar, even if he doesn't have the raw power I might like. He still has so much capability that I love that he's available for us to play some meaningful plate appearances for us. Jeff Carr is not the guy that I had with the White Sox, but is still useful. Although the fact he's our number 3 hitter, I think sets the tone very nicely for why I'm not super optimistic about this season. Steve McDowell is getting his chance to be a home run hitter because I need something to kick a spark in the lineup. Jim Sellers is here after getting his nice new contract. He's been pretty reliable for us, and his contract is fairly reasonable, all things considered. We're hoping Jeff Polson is going to be a big piece to our success here. A nice new additional bat, and somebody that can almost also third base if we need. Carlos Martinez. I would say the single most important thing that has to happen this season is Carlos Martinez must bounce back. This has to have been the flukiest fluke that ever fluked. If it's not, we have so much money tied into such a terrible player that it's probably going to cost us big time. I keep falling for the same traps every time, and that trap is I keep giving people long-term contracts too early. In this case, he signed this contract. When was that? In 2038. Now, in 2038, he had given us 3 really good seasons, and even 2038 was a good year for him. There's still a very large chance that he just bounces back like nothing happened. But this deeply concerns me. And I think is a key part of the reason why I'm not as optimistic this season. Travis Cooper keeps printing out 3-win seasons because of his base stealing, his excellent center field play, and his reasonable bat. I do have other people I would like to give center field to, but we're fine for now. And then Zach Dodson, who we acquired in the Rule 5 pick last season, returns as our catcher. Pitching-wise, there's a lot of changes here. Roque is now the ace. Levy has not aged particularly well. Neither has Santa Cruz. They both have a fair bit of money tied up in them, although Santa Cruz you can move on from at the end of the season. Tony Sarmiento and Jose Arguello have both been called up to offer us some help. I need Arguello to have a great year this year. It doesn't have to be Cy Young caliber, but he has to show that all this time and effort that I've invested into him is going to pay off. I need him to give me, say, honestly, a season like 2038 again would be good, but I still wouldn't feel great about it. I need him to take a big step forward this season for us to really feel good about our choice here. Most of our starters don't have very good stamina other than Roque, which is quite concerning. This is what worries me the most, is that Will Levy's stamina is almost gone. 170 innings of high-quality pitching is fine, but it's not for what I'm paying him for. His drastic loss in stamina over the past few seasons has almost certainly cost him his starting role with the Rockies. Is he another guy that I maybe had pitched too much too early? I mean, the guy was throwing 180 innings at the age of 22. That's probably too many innings, but his pitches per game are pretty reasonable, though. Like, I don't think this is an unreasonable workload. I think maybe he just isn't the guy we thought he is. He's still been a very, very productive pitcher. Let me make that clear, that I don't think he's like a bad pitcher or anything. But the fact that he's losing stamina means at some point he's going to reach that 150 inning mark or even lower, and it becomes almost impossible just by paying this much money for 150 innings. But we'll see what happens. He's still a good pitcher. Still a good pitcher. Santa Cruz has kind of devolved into being... he's not really devolved. I guess we're probably fine. Bennett and or Cantu definitely have a chance to get some starting spots this season. Same with Negron here. Bennett needs more control. He needs it yesterday. A world in which Bennett adds another 5 to 10 points of control this season is one in which he's probably starting next year. If he doesn't do that, then we're going to have a serious discussion about what his future looks like. We have Matt Mittman picking up the outfield, and I don't know whether this is going to solve any problems or not. But it's good insurance in case Carlos Martinez doesn't work out. If Martinez completely loses the thread and we have nothing to do, then Matt Mittman's attempt to learn a new position could help us out. So, you know. I think this team can win the World Series. I truly don't believe that. Now, anything can happen, obviously, and so I'm not going to say there's a 0% chance, but I would put it somewhere between 5 and 10%. The bullpen is solid. The bullpen is very solid. We've got some nice young pitchers that are working to elevate themselves. Blake Long should probably not be the emergency starter, but I kind of want to see what he can handle here. Um, yeah. Let's just get to some baseball games. Let's let the players tell me if this is going to be a great season or not. Arguello's going to miss up to 2 weeks. He's important enough that I don't want him to be injured. So I'm going to go ahead and shut him down for the 2 weeks, and we're going to call up, it's either Cantu or Negron, and I think we're going to do Cantu. And we're going to let Mr. Cantu have a couple of starts, I think. Just getting some Major League experience, right? That's always a good thing you want young players to have at their disposal. It looks like we're off to a rough start. We have won a singular game in the first month of the season. That's not great. Oh, I'm sorry. We won 2 games. My apologies. My humble. I beg your humble pardon. Jason Nish is looking pretty good. He's getting there where he's going to be a pretty helpful reliever. Jaden Hagwood's getting better. You'd love to see it. Fernando Roca is really trying to make something of himself, which I always appreciate. He's going to miss 3 days, day-to-day for a week. Naganori Ida is going to retire. Remember when he was going to be the solution to all of my problems, and it turned out he was just pretty good? It was the price for me. It was absolutely the price for me. If we had signed him for a lot less money, I would have kept him longer, but he cost me a pretty ridiculous amount of cash. So I think for a short major league career, he's been very effective. Not remotely Hall of Fame considerable, but pretty good. But I wish him well. I hope he has a wonderful retirement. This is pretty spooky. But we're still super early in the season. I can't trust any of these numbers yet. We've got to let things settle themselves out. So let's just run it back for another month, and then we'll start making some moves if we need to. Alright, I've got to start cutting people in high A. Or promoting them. Or something. Okay. So let's start moving people around then, shall we? I'm going to just start cutting people in AA that look like they don't have a very good major league career ahead of them. And just make some room here. There we go. I know these guys had good minor league seasons last year. That's why they got promoted in the first place. But I need to make room. So I will. Roca. Who else? Gustavo Perez. He's pretty bad, actually. I think we just say goodbye to Mr. Perez. Nettles, on the other hand, is reasonable. He's not fantastic, but I think he is worthy of a promotion. Definitely. Steve Campione is pretty bad. And then, wait, was it Mario Martinez? Also pretty bad. Yeah. One of many guys that just kind of got locked into the low minors and never really broke through. Troy McCormick and Danny Evans are next. Danny Evans is not very good. Yeah, he can't get consistent playing time has been his big issue. He's hit well enough when he has gotten playing time, but his upside is just so limited that I think we can just tell him goodbye. We have Troy McCormick and Jesus Sanchez. Mr. McCormick gets promoted. He's got some upside left. Jesus Sanchez. I think he is worthy of a shot in Double A, even if I don't think he's a great player necessarily. Coronado, Jesus Coronado. I think that's a no for me. Like, he repeated high A and then got worse. That's not a sign of a player that's going to have a very good career. An 11th round draft pick, I think we can let that go and not feel too bad about it. Castellano and Prieto. Castellano sucks. Prieto's pretty decent. We'll promote him. I'm now going to make some room in A-ball, so let's go ahead and promote Hammond. Zavala, Beltran, Bueno, Bricker and Sullivan, Diaz, Garcia, Carrasco, Albury, and then the Bourgeoisie. And then from there, Jimenez gets promoted. Brussler is pretty hot shit, but I don't want to rush him, and so I think he can stay for another season. Callahan, Shears, King, Averbach, Soto, Leos, Gonzalez, Gomez, Mendesa. Neat. Oh, A-ball needs to hear some people too? Okay. Danny Martinez kind of sucks. Jerry Gonzalez and Justin Adams. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. I have like no starting pitchers. That's probably something I should fix. Edgaris Cole and Tony Solano. These are guys with pretty minimal upside, all considered. Manuel Mandujano and Duarte Patricio. Alright, guys, let's sort by position and let's get some fucking starting pitching into that particular area. Ardilla, Reese, Sanchez, Rodriguez, and Laredo. That gets us some decent pitching. And then I definitely need a catcher. I have no catching in class and the rookie league. That's kind of funny. Just to make sure you can be called up. Then I need another generic infielder. Burmeister. That's fine. Alright, guys. Let's advance some more time then. Arguello's ready to come back. Dodson is hurt. Oh, beg pardon. My root beer went down the wrong pipe. Oh, goodness. Alright, that's that sorted. It's Ricardo Murguia has betrayed us by hitting for the cycle. I mean, he hasn't betrayed us because he's never played for me, but anybody that does anything well against me is a traitor. Dodson's got a broken rib, so he's going to get to recover. This is actually a very challenging problem because I don't think we have any other Major League ready catchers right now. That's not true. Andrew Major is pretty good. I think we can promote him. Gabriel Avila can go up to Double A. And then let's call up Larry Ben Faisal. And that'll be the new catching arrangement here. Taking the organization roster. No, I want rosters and transactions. I want lineups. Why couldn't I find the right button? I don't know. Let's compare Hunt and Major, and let's see who the better catcher would be for us in the short term. They're pretty comparable hitters. David Hunt is slightly better. Slightly. Across the board, although he has a better batting eye. David Hunt is also likely to be the better hitter in the future, which is pretty good. Andrew Major is the better base runner. That's not nothing, but it's not enough to really make a difference. Defensively, Hunt has the better arm. Major has the better blocking. So I think because of his better arm, I think we are going to go ahead and let Hunt start, and we're going to let Major be the backup. That's what I was trying to figure out. So thank you for your patience while I sorted that out. So Hunt is now the lead catcher. Major is his backup. Hunt and Major. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I guess it's stuff. I don't know if it's good stuff, but it is stuff. It is unquestionably stuff. We ripped off a nice little winning streak right there. That's kind of cool. We're not that far out of first place in the NL West, mostly because Mark Monroe is a really good hitter, which is pretty exciting. All right. Dorian Waite is getting slightly better. Losing foam velocity doesn't bother me. 94 to 96 is still pretty great. Rummy's losing stamina. Mullet's losing stuff. Jeff Polson has increased quite a bit. Steve McDowell losing gap power isn't a great look for us. That does concern me. Yasukawa is getting worse as he gets older. That makes me sad. He's off to a pretty terrible start. Cantu looks a little bit better. And some other people farther down the minors are getting better. That's kind of cool. All right. So what's going on here? Yasukawa has been awful. This is so incredibly unlike him. I think we just ride it out, but this is very concerning that he's performing this poorly. Monroe and Carr have both been great. McDowell less so. McDowell probably has one more month to prove himself, and then we do something else. Sellers looks fine. Polson looks okay. Martinez is definitely better than last year, but when better equals replacement level and not the worst fucking player in the major leagues, that is a film with a ton of confidence. It's still pretty early into the season, but I like how good Travis Cooper has looked. Although we know we can't trust his offensive breakouts that closely. The lineup is fine. The rotation is not doing great. It's still very early in the season, but this concerns me quite a lot, actually. Dave Crawford has been incredible. The bullpen has really gotten their jobs done. It's been everyone else that's been fucking up pretty hard. The defense is great. I think this is just people being unlucky. But we got to get more out of our starting pitchers. That's a certainty, especially if we hope to make it to the postseason and have a good time when we get there. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. We got to get more out of our starters. Or Arguello's got to figure some shit out this year. Home runs got to stop, my amigo. Excuse me. All right. Not to really make any drastic changes right now, I could let Travis Cooper be the leadoff guy. I think that would be kind of stupid, but maybe it would work out okay. Like, he is vastly better than he's ever been before, except for his best season in 2037. Um, I want to see if this sticks before I consider moving him up the lineup, but he is definitely a candidate to move up. Not to be lost in the shuffles, David Hunt is actually hitting pretty well, too. So, yeah. I think McDowell is more than anyone else on extremely thin ice. The ice could not be thinner for Mr. McDowell. I need to see the strikeouts drop. I need to see the home runs go up. It should not be this hard to find a competent first baseman. It shouldn't. You know what? Oh, Negron is out for the season. That's a bit of a bummer. He had a really good chance to pitch some innings in the major leagues this season. Let's do a quick waiver check. I haven't checked the waiver wires in forever. Are there any sneaky good hits? Oh, they've all played in the majors. That's disgusting. It's Kasim. I remember you. It's off-brand Manny Ramirez. Warren Dalt has had 2 games in the major leagues. He's not bad. I kind of think of AJ Dubé getting a shot to be the first baseman this year. I think he's much more well-rounded than McDowell. I think Matt Mittman could get his old job back, and we wouldn't lose too much of a step. Is it a platoon that we need to do? Do we need to find somebody that can help out Matt Mittman, or do we just give him his job back? Like, here's the thing. He definitely showed he couldn't be trusted in 2038. He had a really bad year. But he also had pretty decent years, and McDowell has been almost uniformly terrible. We're gonna give it another month, but I think there's a very realistic possibility unless McDowell like completely flips the script that he's gonna be departing soon. Vince Winsett. Where are you, Vince? They said it was in rookie ball, right? Am I dumb? Vince Winsett, the Colorado ACL Rockies. There he is. He is reasonably acceptable, but probably not that great. Nobody's gonna want him. I'll just release him. That's fine. I'm just gonna do a quick shuffling here. I'm gonna move some people over into the DSL Rockies just because right now the other Rockies are full. They're very full. There you go, done. All right, let's keep going. Blake Long misses 5 weeks. Do I want Lyons back? I don't not want him back, but I also don't care. Let's bring Cantu back. Let's let Mr. Cantu get some emergency starting experience. Arguello looks really bad. Like, he doesn't have to be the best pitcher in recorded history, but he needs to be better than he has been. Dodson is just better than Major. I think David Hunt has hit well enough that he deserves a chance to hit even better. So I think we're going to tell Major goodbye, and we're going to bring Dodson back as the backup catcher. Just because Hunt is hitting quite well, and I want to make sure that that continues, so we'll get... Nope. Damn it, game. Curse you and your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Poulsen is the backup first baseman. There you go. That's another answer too, right? We could just send Poulsen to play first base and bring up somebody to play second, or play someone else to play DH. But we have options for sure. For sure. Child cracks 5 hits. Good for the child. Let's check things out at the end of May, and then we can make some decisions here. Okay, Kamani Lions. I'm just not convinced there's much upside here. What he looks like is I'm a guy that can throw some innings if you need them. That's valuable, but it's not something I'm going to make a major league roster open or a spot on the major league roster for. I'm going to go ahead and let you rehab for right now, and then we'll see where you're at in 30 days. We're leading the NL West, which frankly astonishes me. I mean, yes, Mark Monroe competing for a batting title certainly is part of that. And Dave Crawford is arguably the best pitcher in the majors, at least in the minor leagues type stuff. Nothing too crazy happening here. Okay, great. Yeah, Dave Crawford's been amazing this season. Jeff Polson has looked really good. Okay. All right, so what do things look like here at the major league level? Steve McDowell has been borderline acceptable. With 16 home runs, he has more than anyone else on the roster. Travis Cooper said well enough for long enough that I think we need to bump him up the lineup. Especially with Yasukawa struggling so badly, I think this is one change I'm going to make right now. This could end up being disastrous, but I think based on their current trajectories, this is what needs to happen. What else? Carlos Martinez is cooked. I don't know what the fuck happened to him between 2038 and 2039. He is no longer good. I've got to try to trade him. Like, he is dragging this team down. I have plenty of other captains. I see absolutely no benefit to keeping Carlos Martinez on this team. Besides the fact that I don't think anybody will take him. Yasukawa's worrying too, so is Sellers, but both of them are much cheaper and have a much more established track record. How is Matt Mittman taking to left field, by the way? Is he doing alright? He's acceptable. Carlos, I think it's time that we tell you goodbye. I don't think anyone's going to want you, though. That's my problem. Alright, if I eat 50% of his salary, does that get me anything? That at least gets me something. Okay. Marco Ramirez is a perfectly fine starting pitching prospect for a certain level, but he's not perfect at it. If I could get Perez, Ramirez, and maybe even John Cooper, I would definitely take this trade. Let's start with Perez, Ramirez, and where's hanging with Mr. Cooper? Here we go. I don't need them both. Let's start taking money off the table. And then I'll simulate a singular day. Wait, you just randomly changed your mind? I'm going to start dropping it. What if I offered you... Okay, you're wanting somebody genuinely good if I completely remove the amount of money I'm paying off? You want this guy? You can have him. Okay, let's talk about what this gets to the team. First and foremost, this gets me a substantial relief in salary. Substantial. Can I get Pacheco too? Nice. Um, it gets rid of somebody that has just not gotten the job done at all. And it opens up a spot for a new player. Which means I can probably carry McDowell for another month and not be too hurt if I also had in a guy like a Matt Mittman or AJ Dubé or something. So I think this is the correct decision. It's going to be a bummer because I really had so much hope for Carlos Martinez being a great player, but he's had. It's what have you done for me lately? His past 700 plate appearances or so have been fucking terrible. And so I can't afford to just let him figure it out. So we're going to make this trade. That had to happen. We made the correct choice. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So who now plays left field every day? Is it going to be McMartin? I think that's the definite early sign. McMartin has been a tremendous player in part-time, and I think just giving him an everyday spot is pretty smart. Probably Mittman is going to return and be like a bench bat. And I think I like that a lot. All right. McDowell is also left-handed. He's doing okay. I mean, he's not great, but he was hitting 248 with this kind of power. He's too good for me not to play him. So, McMartin, welcome to playing left field every day. You're also pretty much an identical player either way, so welcome to the full time. I'm going to let Cooper play until he proves he can't. I think that's probably reasonable. Actually, let me just generate a new depth chart here. No, Hunt is still playing very, very well until Dodson forces the issue. He's the starting catcher. McMartin is much better than Mittman. Is Polson still playing well? Well, Polson's still playing very well. Yeah. And it's the same lineup now, right? Yeah, it is. Let's copy the depth chart then and paste it. There we go. All right, let's finish the month of June now and feel pretty good about ourselves, actually. We can get Brian Casey back. I want Brian Casey to definitely... Is there any reliever that's actually really struggling this year? Are any of my relievers having a really rough time? Harbor is Brian Casey also a lefty? He is. Because Harbor is struggling as much as he is, I think swapping Harbor for Casey makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and tell Mr. Harbor here that he can go back to the minors and work on his shit. Has he actually been that bad, though? Harbor's actually really good. Never mind. Baxter's doing great. Birch is great. Crawford is incredible. Mullet is fine. It's actually probably Dorian Waite that gets demoted. But honestly, probably not. Maybe the solution is just to let Brian Casey rehab and then figure out from there. I think that's the correct option here. All right. Let's see here. Zach Dodson has been called out by Ken McMartin. Suspend Dodson. Wait, is Dodson just a giant asshole? Is that a problem, actually? I will get rid of Dodson. He's not that important to me. Yeah, Dodson's a little bitch. Let's just trade him. I've got no time for clubhouse cancers. So if I can get a quality prospect like Felipe Quintero, I'm just going to do it. Problem solved. Can I suspend him after I've already traded him? That seems kind of rude, right? I just want to see if this even still works. Yeah, Dodson can just leave and we can just bring Andrew Major back. I think this is a good time to take a moment and do some minor league shuffling. Get in there, Andy. Yeah, fuck you, Dodson. I ain't got time for your bullshit. I think it's probably just going to invalidate it. It's what it should do, but it'd be really funny if it's like, oh, well, okay. All right, what do we need here? How hurt is AJ Dubé? We don't know how hurt he is. Okay, well, just who's having the best year in Double A at this moment in time? I saw one guy's got 1.2 WAR. It's Jaden Dagwood. You know what? Sure, you can be promoted to AAA. Well done, you. I want to call up a position player too. I think Jake Miller's a fine choice. Then from high A to double A, we got any crazy stuff happening here? Angel Belmontes can be promoted. Danny Talas has been insanely good. And then I bet William Jimenez most definitely deserves a promotion given how good he's looked. Yeah, he gets promoted. Easy choice. Moore gets promoted. Sanchez gets promoted. Child and Villarreal get promoted. And Brackett. Kevin Bressler gets promoted. Radigan and Orales both get promoted. Avalos gets promoted. Any good shit happening here? No, these see. Oh, this is the Dominican Summer League. It's not summer yet, so none of these guys will have played yet. That's my bad. That is my ungood. Anybody's having a really bad year in Double A is going to get demoted. Because I just need somebody to go down. Let's send down Mike. What's his face? McKinney? There we go. Done. Looks good. Alright, friends. Let us return to the team home screen. And I need to step away just for a moment. I'll be right back. Alright. Gotta do combine stuff. That's fine. Do your thing, man. And then let's just finish the month of June and see where we're at. Jim Sellers is going to miss 4 weeks. That's not ideal. All right. With Sellers missing 4 weeks, this is the time for Jeff Polson to slide over and play third base, which means I need a new infielder. Who is the best choice? Arguelles, potentially. Could be pretty okay. Can you play second or short? He can handle third and short. Okay. I think second wouldn't be too big a difference for him. We could bring Tanaka back. Tanaka only plays second and short. We could bring Demers back. Demers plays all second and short quite well. Do we let a double A guy make the jump? What about Danny Talas? There's actually a lot to like about him, but I think he's not ready for the majors yet. I think we can let him cook a little longer. Let me call up Arguelles. No, I think it's Tanaka. Yeah, it's going to be Tanaka. We're going to call him up. No, wait a minute. No. We're placing a DH, aren't we? I think it's either Hedgecock or Prez. It's probably Hedgecock, actually. Gets called up. And who's the better defender between Mittman and McDowell? It's McDowell. So Mittman's going to take over DH, and Poulsen's going to play third. That's the correct decision, I think. All right, so Poulsen slides over to third base. And then Mr. Mittman is going to DH. Mr. Mittman is going to duh. And then generate a new depth chart for me, please. And I'm just going to do stuff like boop and boop. Oh, right. Poulsen to third. Mittman to DH. The fans can't get enough of Matt Mittman. He's the middiest and the manniest. That's what we've all been saying this whole time, right? Okay. This would have been Dubé's spot, but he's unfortunately injured, so that's a bit of a rough patch for him to hit. But it's fun. Is Yasukawa getting better? He's improving slowly. Teodoro Simard and Ramon Mancheca. You can be promoted. And you can be promoted. Done. Oh my gosh. Okay. Gotti can be promoted. Also, Beto can be promoted. Gomez can be promoted. Who else we got here? How many people now? Aguilar, Garcia, and Cruz. There goes Cruz. There goes Garcia. And here goes Aguilar. Done. Okay. Neat. Now that we've just made a bunch of room, let's take a look at our international complex. Which is under Organization International. I knew that. All players. Sort by age. For 18, you get promoted. Them's the rules. Alex Jaramillo's going to be hitting the major leagues. That's pretty exciting. Or the minor leagues. That's pretty exciting. And then does anybody just like outright suck? Like, are we wasting our time with anybody? I think Ernesto Nieo we are. I'm gonna release you. And then we're done. Cool. It's a very productive use of our minor league system, I think. Blake Long is ready for his return. I think we're gonna just go ahead and let him rehab. Kamani Lions. We need to make our decision here. Okay. Lions is still not that amazing, so I'm going to go ahead and designate him for assignment. And we'll see if anybody's going to claim him. I think a new top player is what we need. You're making plenty of money. Don't be a bitch, okay? Cease thy bitchiness. You're making so much money. Nowakowski has done a really good job with my pitching staff here. I think letting him stay is the correct choice. Although we could possibly do better. What if we try to upgrade our pitching coach? Well, let's look at Arguello, for example. How's Arguello getting along with his pitching coach? If we look at his development here. He's got a great reputation, but he's kind of average across the board here. I think maybe we could do a little bit better than Nowakowski. So I think maybe he's losing movement. Hmm. 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 Oh, right. That's how this works. Yeah, that's fine. His control's pretty alright. Let's get him to work on his movement. Oh, not stamina, sorry. Movement. There you go. That should help a little bit. But I am concerned about Arguello, and so I think getting a better pitching coach for you is going to help us significantly in the long run. No Rockies in the top 10. Sad. We're still the #1 system, though. Mostly because we've got just really good players, but they're all just not in the majors. They're not ranked as highly as you might hope. Alright, so that's that done. So do we decide we're going to let him leave? Let's give all the minor league coaches a new contract, though. And then we can pick and choose to see who our next pitching coach is going to be. One guy is like, I don't think so. Let's talk to him. It's Jason Frome. You get promoted. You get a new contract. Everyone gets a new contract. I know Wachowski's done really good with the bullpen. And we've definitely pitched better than we should have, given the fact we pitch in Colorado. But I think it's the fact he's not getting along well with Arguello that really concerns me. Really concerns me. Yeah. It's the natural big naturals. As predicted, Lions easily cleared. Easily cleared waivers. I didn't think anyone would bother taking him. We just lost 11 months for fucking Bressler. That sucks. Kid. How dare you? How dare you? William Jimenez just keeps hitting everywhere we put him, which is pretty wild. Although I don't think his major league future is particularly bright. Stranger things have occurred. You know? Alright, McMartin is getting better. Monroe's getting better. Mullet's getting worse. Birch is about the same. Casey's getting a little better. Bennett is losing velocity, which only concerns me if he doesn't gain control, which seems to be his problem. He's still giving up way too many walks to be trusted. Avila's getting better. Dubé is getting better, even if he is hurt. Well, I guess he's not hurt anymore. That's cool. Arquez is getting better. Miller's getting better. Wellborn's getting better. He's 22 and still at A-ball. Nice. Huh. Let's sum up to the draft. Let's actually take a quick look at how the team is doing so far. McDowell is struggling pretty badly. He's my only consistent source of power, which makes it really hard for me to do anything about this, but what if I just swapped him in Poulsen? Poulsen's actually been really good. Let's try that. I don't feel like we can dispose of McDowell entirely yet, unless we go for Dubé. Is that what's going to happen here? Do we activate AJ Dubé and let him be the new first baseman? Let's see what we can get for McDowell if we trade him. I think I'm at the point in his career, he's given me plenty of chances to show that he can be a good hitter, and he just hasn't been. He just strikes out too much. Like, there is a world in which a 3 true outcomes guy can really, really thrive and work. This is not that guy. So we're gonna see what the market is for Steve McDowell. Can I get a prospect package? I want a green and 2 yellows. That's what my ask would be. I would happily take a blue and 2 yellows. Jaquinde is really, really good. Andrews is fine. Dave Martin is fine. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a lot better than this, but I'm going to keep looking just in case. But a blue and 2 yellows is pretty awesome. 2 greens is pretty good. Jorge Aguilar is actually really interesting. What a fascinating prospect. I don't think it's enough for me to go for this offer over the other one, but it's pretty funny. Gil Carrillo's not that exciting. Let's take this one. Done. Complete trade. Wait, do all of you need to be added to the 40-man? That doesn't sound right. Jaquinde does. That's fine. Jaquinde right now is actually pretty damn good. He's better than Cantu. Yeah, you know what? I had zero intention of actually letting Jaquinde be a starter. And I'm still not going to let him start every day, but I think he is very, very good. What a pleasant surprise, actually. I didn't realize he was this close to being such an excellent pitcher. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. And then as for Dave Martin, I will happily add him to the 40-man if I have to, but I don't think he's ready for the major leagues yet. All right, Dubé gets called up. He's your new starting first baseman, I think. Two more players gotta go. I think Felix Cruz is an obvious cut. I think Fernando Valdez is also an obvious cut. Goodbye, gentlemen. All right. Alyssa doesn't like him, but we love him. We think there's something special in him. Hope we're right. That'd be pretty dope if that were the case. We could have Jim Sellers back. How is Mittman doing as our DH? He's not been spectacular, but he's also barely had a chance to show that he could be. I think this is probably a goodbye to Hedgecock. Polson's playing third base well, right? Like, he's handling the position pretty well. He is. He is. It was between Hedgecock and Sellers. I keep Sellers 100%. But Sellers was off to kind of a crappy start this season anyway. Let's let him rehab in the minors, and let's let this decision solve itself in the next 20 games. Yeah. Because Dubé's hit really well, and I want to give him a chance to hit in the major leagues. I think we could value his bat quite a lot. Brian Casey, we've got to deal with. Okay, fine. Well, he's currently suspended anyway. That's funny. That's kind of funny. The thing is that there's nobody in the bullpen that I can obviously sit here and tell you that, yes, we need to demote them. Ryan Birch, you've earned the right to be my 7th inning setup guy. Let's get you in some middle relief work too, Mr. Baxter. Um... What if I said goodbye to Mike Mullet? Yeah, that's probably fine. And then Mr. Casey here, I'd like you to be a middle reliever for me, please. We have a very left-handed bullpen. I don't know how to feel about that. But I guess I'm here for it, as long as they're pitching well, you know? Alright, let's sim up to the draft. Why don't you check who our all-stars are? Let's do that real fast. Wow, not even Dave Crawford can make the all-star team. Mark Monroe and Ken McMartin both make it. And Jeff Polson. And Dylan Patrick Baxter makes it, but fucking Dave Crawford doesn't. Like, what the hell does Dave Crawford have to do? Allow a run? How does he not make the all-star team? I don't understand it, guys. Especially over his own teammate. My Gasts, completely flabbered. Not a single Gast has been unflabbered this season. Damn. Like, I'd love for us to McMartin made it. That's a real shock that I didn't expect, but I'm pretty happy about. Polson has been great. Really happy with Monroe, obviously. And I don't hate the fact that a pitcher made it. I'm just shocked that it was Dylan Patrick Baxter over fucking Dave Crawford, who's been the best closer in the league. But, oh well. Snubs happen, for sure. And Armando Alvarez. Pretty hyped. Paul Heyer and Jason Nish both made it as well. Cool. Very nice. The American League defeated the National League. I'm disgusted. How did the Rockies do? Polson DH'd and struck out twice. Woof. Mark Monroe was a pinch hitter and did okay. Did McMartin play? McMartin was a pinch hitter. Wow, you didn't even start any of my guys. That's why you lost, you know? If you'd give my players the correct respect, I bet we win easy. Paxter was helping. Hooray. Alright, guys. Let's keep going. Mike Mullet has easily cleared waivers. This does not surprise me. I think I'm just going to let Fernando Carino go. I feel like some organization might get more out of him than I ever will. Let's try a cheeky trade, but I don't think I want him in the team anymore. I just don't see a future for him on the Colorado Rockies, and if I can get a prospect for him, then I'll take it. And if I can't, then I'll just cut him. Literally makes no difference to me. I think his time is done. Oh no, anyway. One more player here has got to go. Probably Saragossa, if I'm honest with you. I don't think there's much future for him here. Let's tell him goodbye. Done. That's sorted. And was having a fabulous, crabulous day. Marco Ramirez is. He can pitch in Double-A, I guess. Let's start removing... Oh, Ian Klaus needs to make it. Let's swap. Let's send Castellanos to high A, and let's call up Ian Klaus. So that Santa's kid doesn't feel bad. And let's just start making some cuts in the high in the mid minors now, because they're some of them are not very good. If your upside is 33, you can leave. Yeah, you can go. I need to keep Justin Major for now because I need the catcher, but Bobby White can go. And Acevedo can go as well. Release the three of them, get down to the roster minimums. Nice. Oh, I should probably flag McDowell as an ex-Rocky, shouldn't I? I should for Carlos Martinez also, shouldn't I? I think I already did it for Martinez, though, is the thing. Here you go. Sleeve McDowell. Sleeve McDykel. I think I already flagged him as a former Rocky. I did do. Roger Taylor. You get to be a former Rocky also. Like maybe you'll figure it out in Baltimore in a way you didn't in Colorado, but you were pretty bad for 2 years in a row. So getting rid of you while keeping no money is a gigantic win for me. I feel really good about that. It's draft time. What do we want? What does this organization really need? It needs everything. I need best player available regardless of position and start working people up to the level they need to be at. But that's what it is, right? It's just raw, unmitigated talent that can make its way up the system. I feel like a really great hitter would really tie this farm system together in a really meaningful way, and I'd be pretty happy about that. But we're going to take what we can get, right? Like, we don't have complete control over that. We're picking 16th. We'll get an okay pick, but not necessarily an amazing one. All right. We love a reliever in Juan Pantoja. He's a really good reliever. Like, he's truly excellent. I feel like picking a reliever this early is probably stupid, though. I'd rather get a position player if I can. Antonio De Los Rios. Really good hitter, but extreme risk and not a good catcher. Blake Kerr. Pretty good hitter, mediocre catcher, okay pitcher. Like, as a two-way player, he definitely doesn't suck, but I don't think he's the answer either. If I'm wanting, like, an elite talent offensively, I don't think he cuts it. So no Blake Kerr either. Travis Schreiber is definitely something I can get excited about. Great overall skills, not a great discipline, but pretty good. Good speed, reasonably good second baseman. I think this is a perfectly fine second baseman. Not a perfect one. I'd like the range to be better, but I think he can handle himself at second. And I think this is the answer. I think Mr. Schreiber here would be very, very welcome. There's also Isaiah Hood. Like, the value of Isaiah Hood is he's almost major league ready, but the downside to his upside is pretty low, actually. Let's go ahead and grab Blake or Travis Schreiber, and let's call it a day. Draft picks. I was hoping either Mullen or Pantoja would fall to me in the second round, but evidently they didn't, which is a shame. I feel like Blake Kerr is too gimmicky. I'd like to get somebody that's a bit more valuable to me. Johnny Joyo. Good fastball splitter, nice control, good velocity. He's just a really good pitcher. I'm going to compare him to Donald Basham and choose one of those two. I think Basham is the better pitcher. He's pretty smart. He's got more velocity, a great fastball slider combo. Joyo does have more movement, which makes him slightly better for Colorado. I really couldn't go wrong with either one of these gentlemen, but I think I'm going to take Joyo for now. Because I think getting more great relievers in the system is going to be good for us. Basham is still around. Let's talk about other position players, though. Excuse me. Victor Magana, what's his deal? He's really good in a lot of ways. He's a decent catcher without being exceptional. I think this is a perfectly fine pick, and I do want to make sure that we do get more offensive skill into this organization, for sure. If Basham is still here, by the way, when I take my fourth pick, I will draft him. Yeah, Basham is a good choice. We're not making the highest upside picks, but I think we're getting really useful pitchers that could have a very quick path to the majors, and that's pretty important for a team that wants to compete quickly. Now we can go into the well again and grab ourselves a high-quality position player prospect. Frank Medina. I think he's a perfectly fine player. Let's get him. I only really flagged the first 5 rounds, so let's keep going here. Paul Jenkins is casually hanging out at the top here for free. He's a really, really good pitcher, so let's grab him. I've gone shockingly deep on relievers. I need to stop. I need to start getting more position players. Mike Milburn is exactly what I'm looking for. Almost an ideal second baseman in a lot of ways. Great at turning double plays. Range isn't the best. Range is not the best. But very good. He's a very reliable second baseman. He's got really good hands. A pretty good offensive skill set here. I'm into it. Richard Hindman is just good. This is just a good player. If he develops the way we expect him to, he's going to be very, very strong. And I love it. So let's do it. All right, let's get a bit toolsy now that we're in the 9th round. I'll let you look at Tamaichi Kuriyama. I'm less excited about him. I think he's fine, but I think we could probably do better. Who is the best contact hitter in this draft by Babbitt? Okay, Tom Bryant is a great all-around first baseman. I think we happily take him. I think he's a very good choice. Dunzo. Who's got the bop? We've got a lot of guys that have the bop. Yeah, let's go and grab Kuriyama now if he's still around. I think that's perfectly fine. Then let's also grab Mario Iglesias, and then we'll probably stop just drafting for power. Let's switch over to pitchers now, and let's look for... Let's start with stuff. Okay. Josh Cable seems like a good pick. We'll grab him up. Good all-around pitcher. I can be excited about that. We're going deliberately toolsy here, so my concern isn't making sure that we hit. It's making sure that we get players that have enough tools so that if they develop what we hope them to, we'll give a really good pitcher at the end of it. Frank Espinal is really good. I don't think he looks quite as good because some of his basic ratings are kind of middling, but this is an excellent combination of pitches. He's got okay stamina. He's got a good arm on him. Espinal is perfect. He's got a mountain of olives. Wow. Big if true. Let's grab Johnny Carroll. And then I think we're going to switch back to the other screen and we're going to see what our scouting director wants us to get interested in. All right. We like Alex Subera and we like Troy Laval. Troy Laval is the exact kind of lottery ticket I like taking later in the draft. He's not, like, he only has one really great offensive tool, which is his raw power. But I think with a bit of help with his batting eye, and the fact he didn't strike out very much in college, or high school rather, I think it's pretty good. So Notre Dame in Peoria, Illinois? Oh, that's probably the high school. Yeah, that's the high school. But how does a kid from Idaho go to high school in Illinois? I have many questions. I guess he could have been born in Idaho and then moved there. That's reasonable. Danny Jones and Evan Cole. Danny Jones is a guy with a pretty high floor. I'm not particularly concerned about him working out, but I'm also not staring at this guy and saying, yes, this is a guy that's going to make the majors, especially when his best pitch is a changeup. He has no four-seam fastball, and even his changeup isn't that good. I'd rather take Evan Cole. I know he's got an extreme risk here of maybe getting hurt, but he's a pretty competent outfielder with an okay offensive skill set, and that's more useful to me than Danny Jones. We like Richard the Barber. I like Barber very much more. I know he's got an obvious flaw in his control, but that can be worked on if he does get his control under control, pardon the pun. I think we got a really good pitcher here. Plus, he's got really good makeup. So let's make it a thing. Jeff Baker. Does he make anything delicious, I wonder? Nah. This is not a great outfielder. His defense skills are pretty poor. He'd be okay in a quarter. He wouldn't be great, but he'd be okay. Especially in the corner because his arm is so good. He's pretty slow, though, and his offensive skills are just, I hit for average occasionally. I'm not excited about anything I'm looking at here on Jeff Baker's pain. Zach McDermott. He's not the difference from the guy we were just looking at, but his big change here is that he's got the personality here, which means he's a little bit more likely to improve. I think we'll take him. We're really to the point where there aren't very many great options, and that's fine. That's whatever. You still really want me to take Jeff Baker? You know what? Just for you, I'll draft him. That's the guy that I am. You're really desperate for me to add him on, we'll do it. Josh Pearson. Oh, Pearson's got some really nice pitches working for him here. Again, control's the issue, but this late in the draft, again, if we get anything great out of him, I'll be utterly stunned. Nice draft. This is very much a high floor type of draft. I don't think we got the elite players that we were looking for in a realistic sense. I think Schreiber could be very, very good, but I don't see him being like the 7 or 8 win player that so many AI teams seem to stumble upon. I think he's fine. I think he could have a very successful career, but I don't think he is super elite. But I think for number 16 overall, he'll do just fine. A lot of relievers taken, a lot of catchers taken. This is all very good. Yeah. I'm pretty happy about Magana, but I'm actually more happy about Hindman. I think Hindman has a real chance to be a meaningful catcher for us in a way that I don't think Magana will. I do appreciate his offensive skills, but I don't think he's as good a catcher. So we'll see what happens. So that's a pretty productive draft. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. Blake Long, we got to make a decision about him. How is Jaquin Day doing? He's doing very, very well. Yeah. I see no real benefit to messing with this team. Holy shit, Danny Roque. I'm gonna trade him at the deadline. And I mean, he's pitching really badly. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, Queen Day, welcome. If you're getting your brains hammered that badly, I can't keep you in the rotation. Arguello's doing okay. I know his raw numbers don't look that impressive, but I think he's doing okay. And I don't want to keep jerking him around, so I think this is the year that I just leave him in the majors and we see how he does. Sarmiento's actually looked really good. Sarmiento has been kind of clutch, actually, in a way that I didn't think he would be. Will Levy's been pretty good. What do we do about Blake Long? Do I trade Roquet? I think I do. Like, Roquet was already probably not going to stick around anyway. But if he's pitching this poorly in Colorado, I am concerned. I'm very concerned. Anybody want some Roquet in their life? Probably not. Oh, that's not true. I could get John Castro for him. John Castro's a pretty great reliever. He's kind of far from the major leagues, but given that Roquet sucks now, I think this is very, very good. So we're going to make it happen. Castro apparently is another stealth starter that I didn't realize. We're going to send him to the high minors, and we're going to let Blake Long fill in as a reliever. That's fine. Oops. Long relief. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Roquet is a former Rocky. There was a time when he was one of the better starters on my team, but he just hasn't. He has not aged particularly well. Maybe again, he's another guy that maybe pitched a bit too much. We'll never know. Jim Sellers. I am not trading Jim Sellers unless I have a very, very good reason to trade Jim Sellers. Polson's been doing great at third base. Hedgecock is barely playing. Dubé looks really bad. So I think we're going to call up Dubé and bring Sellers back. Okay. Let me look at the difference between Polson and Sellers defensively and decide who plays third base at this stage. Look at defense. Polson has a lot more range, but Sellers has a better arm. And he's less error prone. I think it works either way, personally. I don't think there's really a wrong answer here. I consider letting Polson play third base, unless he's been playing it poorly. Do fielding stats here. He's been fine. I can't really complain about Polson's skill at third base. Let's go ahead and let Sellers play first for the moment. We could let Hedgecock play first base, actually, and let Sellers kind of fill in as a backup. I think Sellers' track record indicates actually let's give him a shot at first base, you know? Let's try it. Let's see how this works out for us. And then if it doesn't work out, then we can try Hedgecock. That seems pretty good. Let's do it. I'm not saying that Dubé is doomed or anything, but his time as a first baseman was definitely not very good. So I think a little more time cooking in AAA is going to pay off some dividends in the future. I have zero desire for Mitch Bratt. I have -0 desire for Mitch Bratt. Travis Cooper was naturally player of the week. That's kind of fun. Am I getting to the point where I have to give Travis Cooper a long-term deal? Is that where we are? Like, he's been so consistent for so long, but I don't want another Carlos Martinez situation, so I don't want to give him a giant deal yet. But I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting to the point where I think Travis Cooper just gets center field and we figure out the rest as we go along. I'd like us to win more games, guys. What if we won even more games than we're winning right now? What would that look like? Oof. Jorge Romero strikes out 16 and then his arm blows out. That's rough. It's a big yikes, my guy. I don't want Justin LeBron. I've never wanted Justin LeBron. I cannot imagine anyone that I want less than Justin LeBron. Unless it's Armand Berlingueri. What a fucking name. Spokane. All right. We're going to lose Novakowski. I think that's fine. I think getting a new pitching coach for all this young talent could be very beneficial here. We're going to try that out. All right. Jose Banuelos, Juan Santiago, Scott Wallington are all going to be leaving. That's fine. None of that bothers me. Santa Cruz has been pretty solid. I think Santa Cruz is not someone I'm willing to trade at the deadline yet. I could trade Tanaka. I don't know that anyone's going to want Tanaka, but we can at least make the offer. Does anybody want Naofume Tanaka? No, nobody wants it. That's fine. We're paying him $13 million not to play for us, so that's kind of yikes. It's kind of real yikes. All right. It's Hagen Smith? Absolutely not. I think you keep forgetting the fact that these guys are major leaguers, and that's disgusting to me. Reject. Reject. Kong Jiang has actually played in the majors, and therefore is of little interest to me. Jordan Marley. I love this visual glitch, by the way, unless someone has like a potential like 85, and you click on like, oh, they're actually not that good. Edwin Ramirez would be a nice little addition if I was allowed to trade for major leaguers, which I'm not. Is there anybody that I have that I want to move on from? Not especially. Like, there's not a name here that I'm looking at and telling you, yes, this person needs to go. Jeff Carr's been fine. Not exceptional, but fine. Yeah. I think there's really nothing here that I'm interested in parting with at this moment. Shaden Hagwood. Jake Miller's okay. I kind of like Jake Miller. He's not terrible. The strikeouts are still a problem, obviously, but there's room to there's reason to like him for sure. Bill Gaston. It's pretty good third baseman if we needed one. Trading Sellers just for the sake of getting rid of his contract seems kind of dumb to me. He's actually been pretty good for us, so I think it's way too early to give up on him. So I don't think Sellers is a guy I'm willing to move. I guess for a really good outfield prospect, I would do it. Maybe. Maybe we try to acquire a first baseman that I can just plug and play. Maybe. Huh. Interesting. I'm just not that fussed by it. Plus, Sellers can also play the outfield. He's got a lot of versatility, which makes me very happy to have him. Even as a utility guy, he's got some value, so I think that's okay. I don't really think there's a prospect here that I don't believe in. Marco Ramirez isn't terribly exciting. What if I traded Ramirez and got myself a really good hitting prospect? What if I did that? What does that look like? Never mind. Never flippin' mind. Yeah, I think we just kind of ride this one out. I mean, I'll obviously listen to deals as they come out, but I don't think there's going to be any good ones. People are just going to dump their shitty relievers on me. And without the ability to acquire major league caliber talent, I don't really have an option here. I got an offer here for a guy that I can't have. Look, Alejandro Hernandez is a terrible player anyway. Like, this is not the kind of guy I'm willing to take a risk on. He's basically Steve McDowell with extra steps. I definitely can't give up Sarmiento, who's been a shockingly good pitcher for me this year. So thank you, but no thank you. Blattimore, if that is your real team name, which I know it isn't. I don't know about Charlie Kerfeld. 37 bucks of orange jello is not very much. I do like orange jello, though. As a diabetic, I am kind of grumpy that you can't find orange sugar-free jello. You've got all the other flavors of jello, but you don't have orange in the sugar-free. At least not in my grocery store. Maybe I just need to look harder. Maybe. Calderon's getting a little bit better. Is it time to move on from Yasukawa, actually? Is that where we are as a franchise? Maybe. Look, he's definitely having his worst season as a Rocky. But he's still getting it done defensively. Even defensively, he's struggling a little bit. Why do we keep getting all these players that look really great and then just flame out for no reason? I'm becoming disenchanted with a lot of people here. Do I bench Yasukawa? I don't think so. I don't think that's very smart. I also don't have an obvious shortstop other than Anderson. I know Anderson's pretty good, but he's also struggled to hit. I don't think he's a better offensive shortstop, that's certain. I think we just kind of hang out and see what happens over time. Yasukawa's been too good for too long for me to just kick him to the curb right now. Mark Monroe has been fucking amazing. I don't know why he's only worth 4 wins. Oh, because he's not a great second baseman. That's troubling. I could have Mark Monroe play first base. Although I find it interesting is that his range doesn't rate as highly as I would have expected. What is your deal? It looks like, yeah, it looks like you just make, you don't make the plays you should be making. Hmm. You're way too young for me to ship you to first base, and you've been so good offensively that obviously I'm not going to mess with the formula. I will definitely keep an eye on you, and maybe consider switching you to second base, or switch you to first base in the future. Jeff Polson's been really good too. We've gotten some great performances from essentially two rookies in Monroe and Polson, which I didn't expect, and I'm very happy about. Cooper's been really good. McMartin has been phenomenal. McMartin has also been a key reason for our success as a franchise, which I'm pretty happy about. Yeah. I probably should have McMartin higher in the lineup, huh? Let's do that. McMartin, I'd like you to be my new number 5 hitter. Let's try that out. Here we go. Also, don't sleep on David Hunt being a very good hitter. David Hunt's been a very nice presence at catcher. I think that's helped us out a lot. Let's see what things look like when rosters expand. I like to put together a little run against NL West teams because I like to give myself a little more breathing room at the top of the division. Who am I losing for like 10,000 years? Travis Cooper, that, and McMartin are both hurt. McMartin will be back in a couple of days, but losing Cooper really sucks. Because Cooper's been a big piece of this team this year. In terms of center field options, it's Cesar Paniagua or nothing. Defensively, he definitely has the thing, so I think calling him up is fine. I think Calderon has waited very patiently for an everyday role, and I think letting him play center field now is the correct move. But I then need to completely reimagine this lineup because I do not want these guys leading off at all for any reason. I'm going to try Yasukawa back as a leadoff guy for a while. Maybe he'll get a better approach. And then Calderon is going to center field it up for us. He is selfish. He's a bit of a jerk, but that's fine. That's acceptable. Well, Paniagua to get some occasional playing time. I don't mind that. McMartin will be back in a couple of days, so even though it sucks that we lost him for 2 days, I don't think it's going to make a big deal in the grand scheme of things, as long as it doesn't lead to a longer-term injury. Excuse me. That was pretty gross. 15-11, that would have been an exciting game to attend, right? I do value pitching quite a lot. But if I'm going to a game, I would rather see more offense than better pitching. I mean, what I really care about is that my team wins, right? Like, I care that Cleveland wins or whoever I'm rooting for in that particular franchise, but I do think the games are more exciting. Jeff Carr going out for 4 months actually sucks. A lot. It could be Jake Miller's time. I'm willing to give him the chance because I just need whatever I can get. I'm gonna call up Dubé. I think I'm actually gonna call up Paul Heyer. I don't want another starter type in the majors. I want another reliever type, and I think Paul Heyer could fill that role. So Paul Heyer gets some middle relief work in. The dude's number 3 is going to be McMartin, obviously. And then Mittman goes there. Sellers goes here. And then we're just going to make the new guy, Jake Miller, our right fielder. Cool. Generate depth chart. I don't want Paniagua playing over Miller because I think Paniagua is a terrible hitter. And I need the offense right now. Although he's an incredible defender, don't get me wrong. Paniagua's role is not to hit. His role is to glove when required. I like to do Dubé getting some playing time, a little bit of it anyway. That's fine with me. Losing Carr does suck because he does miss the rest of the season, but while Carr was solid, he wasn't essential. I don't think. Now watch us just go into a tailspin because we don't have Jeff Carr anymore, and then I look incredibly stupid. Leo Castellanos is going to retire. Matt Ortiz is going to retire. Okay, fine. Travis Cooper is going to take another week. Getting Cooper back for the postseason is very important. Cooper's been really, really good all year, and we just clinched the postseason, which is exciting. It's very exciting. Phil Harbor is banged up. And I said finish the regular season. You keep not finishing the regular season. Do you not know how to follow instructions, game? Some people are retiring. Got to set the playoff roster. That's totally fine with me. Okay. I definitely want Brian Casey. And I'd like to add Paul Heyer as well. We're a little pitching heavy, actually, but I think that's not a problem for me. I think getting plenty of arms in the bullpen is pretty important. Who's going to be my rotation? I think it's going to be Levy, Cruz, Santa Cruz, and Sarmiento. I think that's the choice here. So Levy, Santa Cruz, and Sarmiento. With the other guys here being top tier pitchers when I need them. Just be ready, and then if we win the first round, then we can talk about who gets the spot. The lineup is set. Oh, who did we lose? Oh, we lost Miller. No. That is much more important that we keep we keep the other guy. Can I remove Hire? And then still add somebody? Probably not. Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh well. I guess that means that God, really? Gotta use Paniagua? Can Hedgecock play the outfield? No, he can't. I guess we could put Mittman out in left field, move McMartin to right, and then have someone like Dubé DH. Yeah, that's probably smart. That's probably the move that we make here. Okay, so you're gonna move to left field. You're gonna move to right field. And now we're gonna slot in who's the better first baseman? Sellers is a perfectly fine first baseman, so I don't have to worry about that. I guess you slide in Dubé to DH. And then I just need to reset the depth chart here. That's fine. That is equally fine. When does Cooper get back? Cooper will be back. Cooper will be back for the second round if we make it that far. So that's what we're going to hope for. Why is Levy not pitching? Is Levy tired? Levy is totally rested. I still trust him more than any other starter. Do I trust Sarmiento more than Santa Cruz? Sarmiento was by far the better starter. We're gonna jazz it up here. That's gonna be the move. That's extremely rude for you to have defeated me in the first game. You were not allowed to do that. and you just sweep me. Okay, guys, when the opposing team is this bad defensively at pitching, I should be vaporizing their pitchers. We should be hitting the shit out of them. That we did not bodes very poorly for our future success as a franchise. I'm not gonna say my pitchers pitched poorly because they didn't. Um, I mean, obviously Brian Casey choked in an important spot. I don't know why Casey came in at that point, but it's because Will Levy got hurt, which meant Arguello had to pitch, and that screwed up the rest of this particular thing here. So, Levy, you picked a terrible time to get a finger blister. Wow, I get Travis Cooper back. I'm so excited. When an ignominious end, it was actually a pretty good season. Like, this is actually an okay season, better than I thought it was going to be. It was Yasukawa's turn in the barrel this year to be the Rock who inexplicably sucks for no reason. Steve McDowell finished with 39 home runs. How dare you? How dare you? I think most of those home runs are actually for me anyway, so. Curious. The Mets and the Astros. Who will win? The Mets. What a great postseason for them. Every series was a fight for them. Every series went the distance. What an exciting time to be a fan of the Mets. But thank you for the compliment. But I'm still kind of bummed out because I think the season could have ended much better. So what went well, what didn't go well this season? Let's start with that. Let's do our debrief. Travis Cooper has been really, really good. Really, really good. And I think I keep waiting for him to fail, and he just doesn't do it. I guess he is getting a bit more injury prone than I'd like, but he is very, very excellent. And the fact he's only got one gold glove is kind of shocking to me. Because he regularly adds 2 to 3 wins just based off his excellent glove work. Mark Monroe has fucking arrived. What an incredible season. And this is despite the fact he wasn't a very good second baseman for most of it. But he just was such a great professional hitter. I would love to see him somehow add power in the offseason. If he could start hitting 20 to 25 home runs, we would have a megastar. But this is still incredible. What a great season. Ken McMartin, what a shock that he's just, for the first time, given the keys in a way that I never thought he would be, and then just goes out there and dominates. Very, very happy about Ken McMartin. Jeff Polson, pretty good rookie, right? Pretty solid. Decent enough third baseman, nothing extremely special, but still pretty good. Good amount of home runs. We'll let us see a bit more power, but I'm not going to complain too much. Because the isolated slugging percentage around 200 is pretty good. Pretty good season for Mr. Polson here. Pretty good. Yasukawa ended up being pretty bad. The glove is there, the base running is there, but the bat disappeared this year. It doesn't take much for Yasukawa to be an all-star type player. He just needs to hit for league average. Like, compare this season and last season. He didn't have a great offensive year last year. But he was significantly better because he was able to put the ball in play more, and most importantly, get on base. A guy with this batting eye should not be struggling as much as he is to get on base. So hopefully he's able to start picking back up and having a better season next year. David Hunt, very nice catcher. Very, very pleased with his efforts. And then the rest of the team did not have a great year. We still have not solved first base. We still have not solved DH. We've not solved some of the outfield. Like, to have this collection of guys taking up this many plate appearances is pretty damning. There has to be more from somebody. If we just kept McDowell, we've been better off. I don't think so. McDowell was pretty flawed also. We just don't have good options here. Maybe Hedgecock is somebody that deserves a longer look. Maybe he's an answer to the question, but for right now, it looks pretty bad. It looks really bad that we don't have ourselves a consistent offensive producer at offense first positions. Maybe Dubé can be the guy next year. He barely played. Maybe Xavier Perez offers us something to consider. Maybe we acquire somebody, but we desperately need top tier premium offensive performers. That's what this team lacks pretty badly. Jeff Carr was fine. If this is our starting outfielder, I accept it. It's not my favorite thing ever, but I accept it. I accept it. But I really need to get a more consistent outfield. I need to get premium offensive players, and I need to figure out what the fuck to do with Matt Mittman because he keeps disappointing me. I can have zero expectations to come up with negative expectations. Unreal. Sarmiento was such an incredible find this season. Like, he came out of absolutely nowhere to be a very, very good starting pitcher. Ruben Santa Cruz continues to be a workhorse in this rotation, although he is aging and it's showing from his performance. He is getting worse. He's still reliable. Will Levy will never lose sight of the fact he won a Cy Young Award, but he is not the guy he used to be. He's just not going deep enough into games. He just isn't. He's making every start we expect of him. That is good. That is a good part of it. He did get injured in the postseason, which is pretty rude of him, but he's still a good pitcher, but he's also massively overpaid for what he's actually producing. So replacing him is going to be pretty handy. Phil Harbor being worth 2 wins, I definitely did not expect, but I welcome it. What a great contribution from him. Look, Arguello is one of the better pitchers on the team. I know the ERA doesn't say it, but I think he has earned our trust. Even if his ceiling seems to be dropping hourly, I think he has earned our trust as someone that we can rely upon to give the ball every 5th day and just see what happens, right? Tom Ramey was good. Dave Crawford was robbed at the All-Star game. He doesn't even a 1 ERA led the league in saves, but oh, he can't make the All-Star team. Bitch, please. Okay? Dylan Patrick Baxter had a great season. Pretty much the only relievers that did poorly are people that didn't pitch all that much. So the pitching staff looks good. It doesn't look great. I need Hakinde or somebody else to pick up the slack in the rotation next year. Because a world in which we can fully develop our pitching staff and start getting more consistent starting pitching is just going to make us a better franchise, right? Before we conclude today's episode, I think we've got some decisions to make here. Specifically, I'm looking at some job offers here. I had a bunch of people retire. That's very rude. I lost my scouting director. That's very unnice. 2-year deal. That's pretty good. And we're losing Novakowski. That's fine. You are satisfied and you're happy? You want me to have a better rotation? I do too. I made you lots of money, so you hope you'll leave me alone for now. Fanigation is not bottomed out. Fans are still pretty jacked. You're just being stupid right now. Okay. Tanaka, get the fuck out of here. Santa Cruz, welcome back. Easy option decisions. Like, both of them took me less than a second to think about. Alright. This is going to be an interesting offseason for sure. Very interesting. You had a great year in AAA. That's fun. We start handing out contract extensions for people that might want them or might not, but either way. Like if you're pulling up 2 war, you deserve a shot to move up a level. So the Cooper contract is going to be a fascinating one. It will probably dominate most of the offseason because I genuinely don't know what to do about him. Maybe a little 3 or 4 year extension could be pretty useful. Just give us some stability and then see where second. We'll see what center field looks like in a couple years. Crawford and Ramey both get to come back, I think. Dorian Waite can come back without an issue. Matt Mittman, I think, is just gone at this point. I feel like I keep holding on to him, expecting that it'll turn out to be something great, and then he just never does it. I will try to trade him if I can, because I think somebody's going to value him pretty highly. But I just think keeping him doesn't make sense anymore. For better or worse, he hasn't been what we wanted him to be. And the fact that I can't figure out first base is endlessly frustrating to me. Endlessly frustrating. My friends, hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a pretty successful season, all things considered. I thought we were going to be terrible, and we actually ended up being pretty productive from some guys that had really great seasons. And I think we can expect them to have good or better seasons next year. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you haven't already. But until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you very much for watching, and I bid you good day.